Good morning, my friends. I hope you're all doing very well, as always. Today, I wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about aims, expectations, and probably putting labels on sessions. And today, I'm testing my 1 rep maxes, so I thought that would be a good time to do so. First attempt, 130. $130 in the bag. Probably go 135. 140 would be nice, but I think I'll keep it modest. Perhaps I should have been a bit more modest. Just failed 140. I kind of feel like I could. I don't know. In the moment, I feel like I gave it all I could, but I don't know. It's all really weird, you know. But I'm gonna go back down to 135 and hopefully get that relatively easy win. Got the 135. At the time, it didn't feel like anything like mad, you know. It just sort of, it felt like an RP 9 or not 9.5. But I think I'm gonna take that. I'd say a small W. It's still like 7 kilos more or something. So yeah, it's a W anyway, isn't it? So I'm gonna take that and move on to bench. Just finished my last single. That was 90 kilos onto the 100 next. When I attempted it last time, it was like so close. So I'm really hoping I get it this time. Hopefully. So failed both attempts at 100 and nearly got 97. Longest grind of my life, but I somehow moved myself up the bench, and I think looking back at the footage I was literally pushing against the pegs, which is clearly not what I want, but not gonna lie, quite bummed. But again, like, can't let these failures sort of like hold you back with the session, can you? But yeah, deadlifts next. Just come back from the gym and I thought I'd spend a couple of minutes just talking about how I felt each lift went. With the squat then, started with the 130, which technically from the bat is a 3 kilo PR, but yeah, it felt good, to be honest. No other way to say it. It felt like an RPE 8.5 maybe, like defo didn't feel max. And then I thought I'd be cheeky and go for the 10 kilo jump and go for the 3 plate 140. Even just loading up the bar, I thought it was going to be a bit of a cheeky lift, to be honest. And lo and behold, I didn't quite get it. It didn't feel horrendous, but it just sort of felt like I misgrooved something. Perhaps like it felt like I was more upright, as if it was a high bar squat, but I was in a low bar position. So that just felt weird. I didn't get that. It could be a combination of the fact that I knew it was going to be a bit of a cheeky jump. Use cheeky a lot here, but hey. Or could have been the fact that I'm just simply not strong enough, or it could be that I just misgrooved it in that moment. But either way, I thought I'd play it safe and knock it down by 5 kilos, which is where we went for the 135 and got that. Again, felt fine. I think if I really wanted to, I could have squeezed a couple more kilos out of it, but I didn't want to kick the horse out of it, so to speak. So I just kept it with 135, which is an 8 kilo PR, so I'm quite happy about that, yeah. And then onto bench. At the start of this video, I said I was going to talk a bit about aims, expectations, labels. I think this is particularly where it comes into it. All throughout this block, I had the 100 kilo target in mind, like everyone does when they first start lifting. They want the 2 wheels on either side. So that's been a target for me. And in the last block, I got, I think it was 95 kilos for 3 reps. So I was really quite confident that the 100 was there. But either way, I didn't get it. I failed 2 attempts and then failed an attempt at 97, although the strength is definitely there on that one. I just somehow managed to hit the pegs. I'm not too sure how I managed that one, to be honest. I'm sort of in 2 minds when it comes to expecting things, to be honest, because on the one hand, I know I trained so hard that I was so confident that I was gonna get the 100, but also at the same time, in expecting the 100, I was just like particularly upset when I didn't quite get it. Which, don't get me wrong, as a hobby, if I fail a lift, I think generally I'm quite okay in not letting it hold me back at all, but you know, like you're allowed to feel a bit disappointed when you don't get it right. I read in a book one time this idea of a reserve clause, which I think comes from Stoic philosophy, but that basically means you say, if everything all goes well, then I will get this, or if the gods allow, this will happen, kind of thing. So it's essentially sort of expecting, but with a bit of a clause in front. That's something that I like to think of. I.e. with bench, perhaps if I left it a couple of days and I didn't have tight lats or tight shoulders or anything like that, or if I'd warmed up a little bit more, maybe it had been there. But today, it just wasn't meant to be, really. Until I think about this more, I think generally I like to think of like having an aim, which sort of gives you that drive to get to a point. But I don't feel like you can ever expect to hit a weight, just because, like, yeah, you never know what's going to happen. And yeah, if you don't hit that weight, it just sort of makes you feel a bit sad, really, doesn't it? So I'm definitely of the opinion of having aims rather than expectations. I'm pretty sure that was all waffle there, but on to the next bit. So on to the deadlift, whacked on 145 from cold, no, just joking. Whacked on 145 and that flew up like it was nothing. Learning from my mistakes of the squat, I kept this jump a bit more modest and just added 5 kilos, hit the 150. Looking back at the footage, it just flew up when it got to the knee, but I remember at the time, like, I felt my back twitch, or not twitch, but it just didn't quite feel right, you know, so I didn't get that. But then I tried it for the second time, and 150, I think, relatively speaking, again, it flew up. And that's just a classic case of sort of thinking before, right, just push and then pull. It's really quite that simple, isn't it? So yeah, was quite happy with how 150 moved. It didn't feel like 100%, like again, like the squat, I probably could have squeezed out a couple more kilos. And if I was testing each of these weights on their own respective days, then I could have afforded that liberty, but there's only sort of so much fatigue, like both physically and mentally, one can take when you're testing all 3 lifts on one day, so there's going to be a bit of a give and take there. Overall, that's an increase of 18 kilos on my total, which I'm quite happy with, to be honest. I just really like lifting and learning all about the sport, so this is sort of where like comparing comes into it. Like you see all these like people on Instagram that have only been lifting for a year or a year and a half, and they're like making like 20 kilo total increases a month or whatever. But it's not about that, is it? It's, you just gotta sort of lift for your own reasons. And I'm pretty sure I said these exact words in my last video, or words to the effect of, but you just sort of got to enjoy the moment, don't you? And so 18 kilos, I'm pretty happy with overall, yeah. But if you got to the end of this video, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, have a great day. Like if you want, I don't care, makes no difference to me. Bye.